Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go racing. This is going to be some exciting stuff as Bruno Cadilli lines up in 5th place. We're on board with Leslie Oliphant in 3rd, Zahir Essa in 2nd, Jordan Shedder, the man of the moment, in 1st. The Mobile One car next to him. The circuit has got a very long straight, and the lights go green. Jordan Shedder in the lead by a long gap. Zahir Essa slots in behind. Leslie Oliphant having a look down the inside. Cadilli also having a look. There's a little bit of action further back. No one's touching just yet. They go through the first corner safely. All 5 guys, make it through.
No, there's chaos.
There's some cars off the back.
Massive pile-up. I think Warren's going to be called in here after car. Lots of cars going horribly sideways through there. But how good was Jordan Shedder on that start? He literally sealed that off, crossed the
first. The Mobile One car next to him. The circuit has got a very long straight, and the lights go green. Jordan Shedder in the lead by a long gap. Zahir Essa slots in behind. Leslie Oliphant having a look down the inside. Cadilli also having a look. There's a little bit of action further back. No one's touching just yet. They go through the first corner safely. All 5 guys, make it through.
No, there's chaos.
There's some cars off the back.
Massive pile-up. I think Warren's going to be called in here, safety car. Lots of cars going horribly sideways through there. But how good was Jordan Shedder on that start? He literally sealed that off, crossed the line across the nose of Zahir Essa, telling you, dude, you are in 2nd. I've got this done. And that was fantastic driving. But good to see bashes all over the back of Leslie Oliphant, and then a little bit of a gap further back to Bruno Cadilli and the Merc. But our top guys are through. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen and who was affected in that first corner incident. Yeah, it's just 30 fast cars all trying to squeeze into that corner. Very, very tricky, and the guys are going in there side by side, so very easy to get a little tap, get the car rotated, and you're going to get clattered by a lot of guys behind you, and that's exactly what happened. It was a green Porsche that spun.
There were Patterson, Walker got involved there as well, Smith as well. Not too much chaos there. The guys did run quite a bit wide, but I think a lot of them managed to get back onto the circuit. Patterson, unfortunately, looks like he's the one that come off the worst from that incident. Unfortunate, but at least most of the cars are wheels down at the moment.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, my predictions are right so far. Qualifying, I said he'd win. I said there'd be an incident in turn 1. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Let's see if Jordan can keep it going and make it 3 out of 3 for me. I'll be super, super stoked. I think he's going to be pretty much untouchable here today. But the battles for me, I'm having a look. Morgan McCall got the jump on Junior, so that's great. Done. But he's still some way off of Bruno Cadilli. So
Bruno Cadilli just got past Bashir Jadwat by the looks of things. Bruno Cadilli just slotted straight past him on the straight. Bashir not wanting to give that up, though. Bashir going alongside now.
But I think that Merc's fast in that straight line.
Yeah.
I don't normally see. Now he's in trouble. He's going to run wide here. That for me is overtake.
Quite Claassens also having a look there. Quite Claassens also getting involved. Quite Claassens goes down the inside, has a look. Morgan McCall's got the outside line here. Fasaki's got the inside line. They go side by side and they touch multiple times.
And I think, man, that's good racing for us. That's what it's be, because that's the guys. The guys are kind of door to door. So there's no incidents for the clerk of the course to have a look at. That is racing. Look at the straight line speed of that.
Wow. I saw that first hand now. We could see that first hand now into the right hand, and they go. Audi slots back in front.
Ernest, the fact that Morgan had to go defensive heading into 130R says a lot. I thought he was going to be in trouble trying to move back onto the racing line. Ran a little bit wide, so we spoke about it. That might have been a circuit warning for him.
And the Mercedes, you can do that with a Merc. It's very difficult to do that with a Porsche. As we see, Abschmeyer now having a look at Bashir Jadwat. Oh no! In all of this here, Abschmeyer has managed to have a look at Bashir Jadwat. Jadwat's not letting it go though, and defends hard. Goes around the outside, and now Abschmeyer's got the run on him.
Can I just say, well driven, Jason, because what he did there, he realized that Bash was actually not going to yield, and he actually braked early for that corner and let him overshoot, because that could have been instant. It actually touched.
Wow.
It went in far too hard. But you know what happened there? That was him actually running right up the back of Bruno through Degner, and obviously having to get on the curb. Big car coming out.
Most of the guys have picked up a little bit of damage. If you touch a car, you might have slight damage. So there are certain instances as well where it's not just tire wear that causes the guys to drop pace, but it's actual physical damage of the cars. We see the level getting very sideways. He's still got it sideways. Catches it though, and this time Lindsay Ray's going to have a look down the inside. Lindsay Ray goes down the inside. Can he make the next corner? Wilkin's looking on as well. Wilkin now also within striking range for the next corner.
How beautiful was that? Good job, Mr. Director. I mean, to cut to that Lambo, I thought, there we go. And you know, for Brent Lindsay Ray, it's probably also going, oh my word, where's this Lambo going to end?
As they go.
Oh, that's a hell of a corner that. I'm trying to line them up for Spoon. These are real technical corners.
Oh, something's happened with the. Oh my goodness! Bash gets the overtake. Belling is out.
My word, there was contact in Spoon as we were watching Bash. I didn't even see how Bash got past Jason. I was certainly watching what is it.
I know there's a lot happening here. Miller and Bellingham touched, and Bash simply pulled a master overtaking maneuver there on Jason Abschmeyer.
If you remember. So he's kind of really benefited from that chaos. Oh, and he's gone and run.
Skitter runs wide, Miller too. Miller's going to tuck it in here, try and get Eco comes down the inside of Miller. Eco having a look now. Through the S's they go side by side. This is a bad move. The Miller car touches the curb there, says it's Miller time, and takes the position back.
To score maximum points, to draw level, probably sitting at, they'll both be on even points. I think my maths wasn't great. Oh, and he makes a mistake.
Bash makes a mistake.
Well done, man, Jason. And that's the thing. Jason was right there. So when the mistake happened, he was right there to capitalize.
Oh my goodness me. Jordan Shedder gets a drive-through penalty. This is not good. And this is a replay of an incident we saw earlier on. Two cars touching each other by the looks of things. And that's Charles Wilkin and Bellingham over there. Oh my goodness me. As Essa around the corner there.
So he should win it.
Essa gets ahead.
Okay, so Jordan finishes second. So you see,
Essa wins it. Unbelievable stuff. Essa in the mobile Porsche wins it. He can't believe it. He cannot believe it. Essa takes it from the.
Oh no, Bruno spins it.
Oh my goodness, Bruno Cadillo is out. Bruno Cadillo is out. What just happened? What just happened there? Bruno Cadillo is out. Essa wins. Pandemonium on the final couple of corners.
My word. You've got 3 corners to go, and he loses it through 130R. Check it, they are doing burnouts for us.
Oh my goodness.
I'm loving it.
You know what? He did not see that win coming. This is the first time we've seen him show emotion. I think we can let that one slide.
And for he got past Skrobler, finishing in 8th. But I mean, that is a huge surprise. I mean, listen, if Mobile wanted to join a race winner at the right race, they just did. But I just can't believe what happened.
What does it take to win? Is it something you're born with? Is it the grind? Every day. Gear up. Do battle. For the 10,000th time. Or is it pushing to your absolute limits? To be faster. Always faster. Insanely precise. Totally free and at one with the game. Or maybe it's just getting to that place where nothing else matters. Nothing in the way of winning.
Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me Ask him now what's changing. I've been going to the top and I got what they not, so I know that they hate that. But I'm on it. All these lanes gonna zone out. And all these lanes gonna tell you what I did and they twist and they work till I fall out. But I know that, so I keep what I'm doing cause I own that. And I stay in the lab and I kill everything, but I don't ever move, I'm a Kodak. So finally back in my home. I'm working and I start off this way. Give me a zone now.
Having a great strap and almost banging wheels.
Cause I'm back in my zone now.
Right, don't get greedy now, mate. Let's go settle down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for round 11 of the ATK Pro Series. My name is Ernest Page, and you join me in Belgium for round 11 here at the incredible Spa. And I tell you guys what, I've done a couple of laps around the circuit, and it's difficult to keep the wheels down over here. But more about that later. Let's talk about this event brought to you, of course, by Assetto Corsa, Kyalami, 9 Hour, and Motorsport South Africa. And we've got a couple of sponsors on board as well. Logitech, Elgato, of course, one of our main two sponsors. But next up, I'm going to talk about the circuit. And there's one person that I know that's probably going to give me a history lesson on this circuit. And that man is Marius, who joins me here in the virtual commentary booth. Marius Roberts, how are you doing, sir?
Ernest, I thought you were going to throw that to Tasman, and then I heard you talking about it. Man, I mean, okay, sorry. Ernest, before we get to track, nice to have Tasman joining us in commentary.
Yes.
It's been like what? Hello, Tasman.
Oh, thanks for missing me, guys. I really appreciate it.
No, we didn't say that. We just welcomed you back.
No. You basically said we've missed you over the last couple of weeks, and we're so glad to have you back in the commentary.
Oh, you busted this time, Marius. You busted this time. She's got you this time.
Listen, great to have the team back together, and at a circuit like this as well. I mean, when I heard you saying, Ernest, that you've done some laps here, I'm assuming simulator, or have you driven it for real? Yeah.
I haven't driven it for real. I've done some simulator laps, and as I was saying, it's difficult to keep the wheels down at the circuit. I think the guys are going to have a tough time through Eau Rouge. They're going to have a tough time not making mistakes here. And the problem with the circuit is if you do make a mistake, yes, you could run wide. There's plenty runoff, but you could also write your car off. So I'm going to see what is going to unfold today. But, man, I'm excited. Tasman, have you driven the circuit before?
Not in real life, no, but we did have a championship round here in the W Series. So I've done a couple of laps, but obviously in the single-seater, not in a GT3 car, so it's a little bit different.
You know what's been awesome for me though. I mean, obviously with down, and everyone accelerating seasons and having to stick to Europe, we're seeing traditional racing going to circuits that we haven't seen on like F1 calendars, like today, for example. And that's why we're obviously running late, because there were lots of red flags at that race. But the cool thing is that it's taking racing to old traditional circuits, and this is what Spa is. I mean, it's been around since 1925. I think they had their first Formula One race there. But it is something about a track that is cut out of the natural lay of the land that makes them so rewarding and engaging and hectic to drive, as opposed to the computer-generated circuits that we see, like Paul Ricard, which we've all commented on.
Your favorite parking lot?
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that is what the drivers love about this, because I think it's an absolute challenge. You guys have been in the simulator. It's kind of on everyone's list to drive for real. I haven't. Yeah. Obviously, we've done Neuschleife, but I haven't done this. But very similar in terms of that, where I can imagine the Oak was sitting on a tractor cutting out the track, and suddenly there was a tree, and he thought, let's go left, and then there's a dam. And well, made these racetracks. But
the original circuit was a simple section of flat out landscape where the guys were averaging 290 k's an hour through some of the sections, and some of the corners were actually 280 kilometer an hour corners. I'm getting so excited just talking about this, and the guys still had to lift off. So you got to lift off at that speed. It's insane. This, of course, is the new version, but it's got similar elements, as you say. You're heading through the mountain flat out. It's going to be amazing.
Look, what's hectic for me, though, obviously there are some limitations to what this incredible simulator format of Assetto Corsa allows. So, I mean, I was chirping on social media when it was clear that it looks like we've got sunny shine and good weather conditions for the race. I'm going, that never happens at Spa. And it's the same with because the tracks are so long at 7Ks and you're in the mountains, you can have a bone dry track in one section and it pouring with rain in the other. But
indeed,
the Corsa doesn't allow that. So it looks like we're going to be clear weather today, but most people will race here and know that weather is going to become a major factor, and it makes it even more challenging. But for me, even if you sit and play these simulators, nothing really gives you the idea of elevation change. That's what I love about this. I mean, we look at Kimmel Straight. But from here on down, I mean, it's literally a roller coaster ride as it plummets back down to the bottom of the valley. And I mean, you look at Eau Rouge over the top of Radion. I mean, it's radical. You walk up there, you're going to be huffing and puffing. And the guys don't realize that because cameras flatten stuff out. So if you get there in a car, and that, like you said, is you guys are going to struggle to keep wheels on the ground. Exactly that, because there's so much off-camera stuff. There's so much, like, especially Radion. I mean, you picking a line, dude. It's like, if I missed that by a quarter of a whatever, I'm in big trouble here, as we saw last year. I mean, we had a racer losing his life in Formula 2 at the circuit, because it is one of those circuits where when it goes wrong at speed, and safety is obviously a big issue.
Yeah, of course, you losing his life there. And I mean, as you say, this is one of those things at the circuit. It's a high risk, high reward circuit. Eau Rouge flat out for some of the drivers today. We've of course got a combined grid, so we're going to have a big spread of abilities across that grid. But speaking of grid, we got the championship standings here, or at least the seedings from yesterday. And Jordan Sherritt, as I said, man, he's at the tip of that spear. In the 216s yesterday, and I've seen him do a 215. So he's in a league of his own at the moment. Honor Vasachi, though, nice to see him up in the mix there. A new name near the top of the grid, and that's nice to see.
Yeah, look, I mean, he was leading run yesterday, and right at the end, Jordan logged in and went, "Hi there, I'm here." Put up the lap time and logged out. So, but good. I mean, Audis are dominating. Taz, it's quite cool. I know your But's obviously doing the 24-hour Spa race here. They say that is what makes it so difficult. Like, we've got a bigger grid here, and there are guys that are probably doing, like you said, 16s, and guys that are doing 30s. And that is the challenge, because all the guys are running in GT3 cars. So in a straight line, they're all pretty much on a par. And in the real race world, when the guys come here, you chat to Jordan and Kelvin, they say what a mission it is, because you really have to work for the overtake. So that is where the rhythm on a track like this becomes so important, because it's about waiting for the right opportunity. It's not a case where you've got horsepower advantage. You don't. Everyone's racing in the same car, even though they've got different abilities. And that's what makes it so tricky from a passing perspective. And it is a difficult track, actually, funny enough, to pass, because it is so fast and flowing.
Yeah, but because of the long straights and stuff, it helps a lot with the toe down the back straight. So, like you said, all the cars are exactly the same, or top speed wise, and it does make it a lot more difficult to get past, especially like you're coming up to a guy who's 15 seconds a lap slower than you, but you're struggling to get past, and it doesn't make any sense, But luckily with the long straights, it helps to pull past. But sometimes you're stuck behind someone for majority of the lap, simply because they've got the same horsepower as you in a straight line. So, yeah, I think that's what makes this track unique. And when they come here to the Spa 24 hour, I mean, it makes it such a unique race to watch, simply because everyone's in a GT3. It's not like the Nürburgring 24 hour where you overlapping guys who are in all sorts of categories against you. So I think that's what makes this track specifically good racing to watch, because everyone's in the same league.
Sorry, Ernest, go. Sorry.
No, just this is the thing about GT3 racing, and this is the thing about what we're doing right here with the 80K Pro Series. I mean, it's all the top sim racers getting together in pretty much similar equipment, but yet you still have talent that bubbles to the surface. It's incredible to watch.
Dude, I was actually talking to you off air earlier. I was watching World European Challenge last night at Manicor. And they obviously, to try and catch up now, they had a night sprint race, 1 hour. I mean, it's a track that not a lot of the guys have driven. I know Kelvin was learning it in the dark, essentially. And then they had a race this morning. And it's radical that one of the Silver Cup cars, they actually ended up winning the race. So they beat all pro drivers because they're in the exact same equipment. The only difference is, what is your driver pairing like? So if you've got two drivers that are consistently quick, and obviously, this is a guy in his car in our series. But when it comes to like the sprint races, where you have the endurance races as well, teammates, it becomes critical that you pair things up, because the driver pairings are crucial, because the cars with balance of performance are operating at in such a similar percentage of performance. So that is why the series is so good, so popular. And I think it's awesome what ATK has done with the series as well, is that I know it's easy to lose momentum. It's been a long round 11. We wrap things up early next month at Kyalami, where we started. But I mean, it's still awesome that we've got 36 guys that have got out there and gone seeding. And I know there's a massive incentive for our final round at Kyalami with our seeding run on that Saturday, which I think is the 3rd of October. The guys will be sitting there, 50 guys, the top 50 guys that seed will get tickets to what we hope the Kyalami 9 hour. It looks like that's still on track for early December. We'll get actual tickets to go to the event. So that's an incentive to keep guys hungry. It's been a long season. A lot of real racing has come online, so guys kind of are dropping out here and there, but they're also racing a lot of other races. I know the guys, some of them, Jason Upschmeyer and the guys were playing last night in an endurance race at the Nürburgring. So it's a long season. So well done to our 36 guys that have seeded and are coming to race. Yeah, I mean, we're ending on a high from Suzuka to a circuit which is again very, very similar. There's no time to rest. I suppose noticeable when we looked at the seedings, you would have seen that our championship winner, he wrapped it up already. Zaire Esse isn't there, and the guy that's pretty much wrapped the second position in the championship, Bashir Jadwat, also not racing. They don't really need to, but guaranteed they'll be at Kyalami for the final swan song. The real talk for us, looking at the championship points, 5 points are in it between Morgan McCall and Bruno Cadile. And if you remember 3 weeks back at Suzuka, Bruno was on for a massive points haul and would have probably ended up going into this round even Stevens with more. Tossed it, coming through like the second last corner, that fast left-hander, and ended up losing how many positions. So it really is the battle to watch, and that for me is why I'm here. I'm here to see that unfold today.
Well, Morgan McCall certainly is the man to watch today in third position. And as you say, Bruno Cadile right behind him. But in the seeding, we saw a big gap between the two, with Cadile having a massive advantage. But only time will tell as we now head to a quick break. And we'll be back after this, folks, to go straight into qualifying of what is going to be an epic round here at Spa. Stay tuned. And we're back, folks, as we now head straight into qualifying. And look at that sight right there. You got all the guys on circuit at the moment. And as you can see by those blue dots over there, that is where each driver is located. This is just the start screen, though, as we get ready for the main broadcast. And of course, today is brought to you by AMD Elgato. And a couple of guys are turning some Logitech steering wheels today, I'm sure. Marius, there's one man to watch, and that's the man currently on screen. That is Jordan Shedid, a man in his own class at the moment.
Listen, what I love before I get to Jordan is you realize the scale of Spa-Francorchamps. We've got all of our cars, 36 of them, on like one tiny little piece of the circuit. I mean, that is how big this track is. But yeah, listen, Jordan, as we know, 3 weeks ago, also absolute chaos, exceeded track limits. He was running away with it. And went for a clever Schumacher move, but the game outsmarted him trying to pit with a drive-through. So he should have won that. I mean, we've said this so many times. He should have won so many races. It's not a technical issue with network, then it's something like that that's hampered him. So in theory, he should have been there from the start. He should have been battling right from the very beginning. I think we'd be going down to the wire for the actual winner of our championship. So really, I mean, it's his to win. I don't think anybody can match his outright pace. But like I said earlier, I'm going to applaud and put him on the podium and say, well done, fantastic. But the battle I really want to look at is that one for the third spot in our championship. And that's going to be a cracker because I think Bruno has been super consistent, but we saw him make that one little mistake. So the pressure is really on. And it comes out of qualifying now because he knows he's got to qualify ahead of Morgan. That's immediately going to put Morgan under a lot of pressure. What is also, we've moaned about this in a way with the game, some change. Like, you're going to go on a qualifying run now, and if you bin it, well, there's no damage to the car. You hit reboot and back in the pits and off you go. But with a 7-kilometer lap, if you make one mistake for the real drivers on that qualifying run, you've thrown away 7 kilometers. You know how that cut your time. So mentally, our simulator drivers don't have anywhere near the pressure that the real racing drivers do because they've got a hard eject button to get them out. So that for me is the one thing I've said a few times I'd like to see change. But we're on board with Bruno heading down to Eau Rouge. I mean, this is a crazy piece of tarmac. My word.
Yeah, insane piece of tarmac. One thing, just getting back to what you were saying about the pit lane, the problem on this circuit on Assetto Corsa is also that the pit lane exit is exceptionally long. So if the guys do go back to the pit lane, they don't actually want to go back to the pit lane because the run up is going to take too long. So, as we see there, Bruno Cadile getting right up on the edge of the circuit and taking risks like that, I mean, that's ballsy.
But it's still, I mean, at the end of the day, that's still going to be quicker than doing a 7-kilometer lap. You know what I mean?
100%.
So those were part of the revisions you spoke about earlier on the circuit. Was obviously, when it comes to Formula One, they've actually now got 2 pits, so they've got 2 different entrances and exits. But for these guys as well, it's such a long track to get everything set up. So I'm still amazed that everyone all goes out, follow my leader. You've got so much space on the track. Yet everyone, when it's green light, okay, the pit lane's open, everyone. I can never understand that.
I was actually gonna mention that as well. Like, everyone's waiting for space coming into the last chicane, but what are you all doing on the last stretch all together? It makes absolutely no sense.
But remember, Ted, we had this hassle at Paul Ricard where the guys were bitching and moaning, and I think leveled at Jordan Sherritt when it came to that final chicane onto the start-finish at Paul Ricard, and he dive-bombed all those because they were all backing up and dithering. I'm going, folks, this isn't Formula One, These cars, you're not lining it up one and then you blast it like you see in an F1 qualifying. These cars, you've got to get the speed going and get the temperatures right, and off you go. But on a track this size, I find it funny. You've got so much opportunity to back things up and make sure.
and none of the guys are willing to back down. None of the guys are going to go, okay, cool, you go ahead, I'll wait. No, they want to fight it out on track, and we see this happening right now. We've got Jason Webb here on track at the moment, currently in first place with a 2:17.8. That's one of his quickest time. So 2:17.8, a good start for Webb over there as he makes his way down Eau Rouge.
Bruno's already done what he needed to do, so he's sitting in second position and Morgan is in fourth. So that's a big psychological battle that we're going to see. I see Jason's obviously bailing out of that. He's made a mistake through Eau Rouge. And like we said, now that's a cool thing. They're going to go eject back to the pits and off they go again. But in the real world, that little mistake costs you another 6.5 kilometers as you get
100%. 100%. I totally understand that. And that's the thing, like my corner that I'm struggling with the most on this circuit is Eau Rouge. And as soon as I make a mistake through there, as we look at the 80K pace car, hopefully nobody's going to be making any mistakes through Eau Rouge today. And the 80K pace car driven by Warren from 80K won't be needed. I know he's dying to do some laps on the circuit, but I hope that car stays parked for most of the race.
Well, I'm surprised.
What do you mean? He's currently doing laps now, guys. You just don't know about it.
If I was him, I'd be doing some practice runs for sure. But I mean, look, we know from watching so much racing over at Spa, La Source Turn 1 is chaos. We've had massive incidents over the years in one because it is a longer run up now to that literally flipping stop dead second gear, probably maybe even first gear in some cars, right-hander. So there's always opportunity for chaos, and I'm sure that Jonathan Benz, who's our guy who's cracking the whip today, will be telling the guys, no, chaos, don't do anything stupid. It's a 50-minute race. Let's all just get through turn 1 safely. But have you told him that, Jonathan?
Yeah, that most of the beginning of that first lap is going to be under heavy scrutiny. The guys have been warned that they do need to take be sensible about it. If you're going double wide into a rouge, it's straight away a very tricky corner.
It's gonna end badly for at least two people.
Absolutely, and so I have warned them to just like be a little bit sensible about it, guys. I mean, it is a tricky corner. Turn one, I don't foresee too much nonsense, but if I'm not mistaken, turn one is actually on the second pit straight before a rouge.
Yes.
Because they start going into a rouge and then they end at the actual start-finish straight.
In other words, you're not starting on the Jeep, starting on.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
but,
that makes things a lot easier for us. But I mean,
yeah.
GP start, that turn one becomes such a nightmare. So cool. Thanks for clearing that up. So you're right. There shouldn't be any issues then as they go through a rouge. But like you said, it's not a corner to go side by side. And even though they are starting on that straight and won't be at full speed by the time they do reach it, it's just such a difficult corner to sight because so much is happening to the car. There's major compression as the car is trying to sort itself out. And then you literally have to target a line over a blind rise. And, you miss that by a little bit. I know there is runoff, but that runoff soon turns into a barrier. So, yeah, it's so tricky, and I think that's the problem. You've got to concentrate here. It's not like any part on this track where you can just relax. And I'm sure, Ernest, there must be some major in-game corner cutting and exceeding track limits that will come into play today, I imagine, especially through Radeon.
Oh yes, of course. And that's the thing though, you are allowed to go through that section and there's no wall, no penalties and no crashing there, but you do get a warning and you will exceed track limits. But I think oftentimes what happens when guys shortcut that section, they don't get a time advantage and then they don't get a warning. So we're going to see some guys cutting, but we're probably going to see some surprises like we always do, where someone suddenly gets a drive-through penalty, but they've been making the mistake for the last 49 minutes.
I'm surprised that the simulator wouldn't put that in, because for me, I mean, that is what, unless you're taking avoiding action, but if it gets to that point, there's so many places here where you really can push margins in terms of trying to straight line and riding the curbs and using a little that's available. And
but the way they've done it is very clever, and it's the first simulator that's actually really been able to kind of really nail that corner cutting thing, because a lot of games will, if you even just, this is black and white, if you cut the corner you get a penalty, and it's not so clear cut all the time. And so what happens is, like even going through a rouge here, you can kind of push it a little bit and push that corner a bit, but there are times when you're following someone and then your car just kind of just tweaks or something, and then you run a bit wide, and the game doesn't nail you for that. And
that's good. That's realistic.
And there's no benefit to, if you are cutting a corner, there's no benefit to you to do that all the time and then risk getting penalties. So it's literally just covering you for the mistakes. And it does it very well. So we definitely rely heavily on the game to police it, because it's impossible to police every car.
Well, imagine, that's what I'm saying. Imagine your business then sitting there as clerk of course, kind of adjudicating all this sort of stuff, because it's great that that's been put in there, that the simulator will actually say, hey, listen, these guys are kind of going door to door and he's taking avoiding action. He's not actually trying to straight line it. I suppose especially high risk corners like that. But there are some other corners on the circuit where the guys will actually be happy to kind of run out as wide as they are now. Now you look, I mean, that AstroTurf, fine, because we've got dry conditions. But Jordan Sherritt would not be wanting to put wheels on there now if we were running in wet conditions. And I'll never forget that track walk I did at Kyalami last year with your brother, Taz, with Jordan, talking about they look at the paint. Is it that the waterproof paint that they've laid down on the curbs, because that's normally slippery? Can we put a wheel on there or can't we? Those are things that the pro drivers do during their track walks, and obviously for the simulator guys, not something they need to even sit and worry about. But this looks like a good lap, and Jordan needs one because he's playing around in 34th and we've got 7.5 minutes to go, but I'm sure he's going to find himself right at the top of the leaderboard.
I think he's just waiting until the last little bit to see. There we go, it goes full. Now no one else can really beat him because it takes about 7 minutes to complete a lap here, doesn't it?
2 minutes 16 in his case, though, and that just shows how fast Jordan Sheridan is. Currently 1.2 seconds, looks like it. Yeah, 1.2 seconds faster than Fasaki. His brother looking good too, in third position now. Bruno Kadile, the man we were talking about earlier on, for that third place title contention in fifth, and the person that he's battling down in 10th. So that's the lay of the land currently, but still 6 minutes to go. But as you say, Tasman, a little bit long to complete the lap around here.
Yeah, I think it's a really long lap, and I think if you make a mistake, like Marius has been saying, I mean, in real life, you're never going to get back to the pits and get back out. But
Sure.
here, you can get back to the pits, but it still takes so long to do an out lap and then to start a flying lap. So you run out of time to actually get any laps in. So the chances are, when you do make mistakes, to get another lap and to actually get a fast lap in it's very hard to do. So I mean, you have to go out right in the beginning, and you have to push, and you kind of can't really go off or make any funny mistakes.
And that's a weird problem to have, in the sense that the punishment for making a mistake is, it's not just crashing, or not even a mistake. The punishment for putting a wheel off is not just crashing. It's a long wait to start the next lap, or it's a trip to the pit lane to fix a tiny problem that's going to cost you a lap 2 or 3 of potential qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, now you've seen the entire qualifying session where we'll normally see 10 laps out of the guys, but we're only seeing 3-4 laps at most. So it makes a big difference on this track compared to any other one.
What I noticed as well, you see how many people were ejecting. Like probably about 12 minutes into qualifying, everyone was bailing on laps. I think they realized one little mistake, they don't have time. So they bail back the pits and start again. So yeah, I mean, now you're putting yourself under pressure. But I mean, what I'm loving is it's pretty much what we saw in the seeding runs. I mean, Arno Fasaki is there in second, which is where he was yesterday. So it really is Audi dominating up front. Obviously, everyone's going to be saying, yeah, but you know, Bash isn't here, and Zaire Essa, the champion, isn't here in their Porsches. But something about this layout and the Audi seems to really work for me, like it did at Suzuka as well.
Certainly the Audi is performing here, and I was watching some of the guys in practice this week, more specifically Cody in the Audi, and I've driven the Audi around here in game as well, and it is supreme here. And we know the Audi's been good, but you know, it's nice to see it actually get to a circuit where it now can shine, and hopefully Jordan Sheridan can have some good luck this weekend.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've just seen a Porsche's gone and ruined things, and obviously fresh from spending a lot of time at the Nürburgring last night. He's going to put his Porsche into third. But have a look at that. So Morgan McCall and Junior. So Junior, Leslie, the Porsche drivers are ganging up now. And Jason and Bruno have been dropped down to 9th and 8th for Bruno. So significantly, look at that. They're lining up right next to each other, 7th and 8th. Our contenders for third place in the championship.
That is beautiful. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I mean, for this storyline to play out like this is just pure joy for someone like myself that is a fan of what's happening right now. And Morgan McCall now, as per the championship, is just, what is that, 6/100ths of a second ahead of Bruno Cadile. Looks like less than that, 3/100ths of a second ahead of Bruno Cadile. And the race is on. Jason Webb, another rival to Bruno, right behind him as well, with JC Grobler also in a Merc just behind him. So we've got a 3-way Mercedes battle unfolding, and I'm sure Bruno Cadile is going to say, guys, I've got a championship to sort out, but the Merc drivers behind him are not going to be on the same page.
Yeah, well, I wonder if that sort of stuff's happening. I actually need to start beating the sticks and seeing what comes out of the bush. Because I'm sure the guys are starting to work like that. Hey, listen, us guys in the Porsches, let's kind of stick together, we buddy. You know, Morgan's got his foot that can certainly help with that. I'm wondering if the guys are thinking strategy like that, because for me, you're not in a situation here where there's going to be a technical where one of your guys could end up not finishing the race. We've brought the safety car in, so if there's major chaos, you can still get a chance to restart and finish the race and score points. So either way you look at it, this battle is going to go down to the final round at Kyalami, third position. and that is what I like to see. There's a 5-point gap between the two of them now. So I think what Bruno wants to do is obviously close that right up because there's much to play for, but it's not going to be decided here today at Spa. And that for me is exciting. So there's a lot of mentality that goes into this. This is building up to our
Well, both of them need to finish here today. And speaking of good finishes, we got Rino Adrianse. He's been very consistent in the Pro-Am category and now mixing it with the boys here in 29th position. And a couple of nice familiar names further down the grid. Right behind him, we got Noor Hendricks, Leon Leroux, Jason Isherwood, Clinton Riddell. This is going to be a huge grid. So far, 36 drivers on track. But the top spot still remains with Jordan Sherritt with a 216.2 as he now makes his way at the top of the hill into the quick right left-hander. Now keeps it tucked into the left as we go on board with our eye in the sky. Maintains the line there. Now this section of here is very fast through here. Watch this downhill braking section. He's going to cut across now onto the curb on the inside there. Run a little bit wide. A little bit of a V line here. And then tuck it back in again. Unbelievable stuff, but it really is insane to see how he managed to trace what is probably one of the more perfect lines we'll see here today.
Yeah, but this part of the track for me, I mentioned earlier, is just awesome because from that high elevation that Eau Rouge, Radion, Kimball Straight took you to, this is now where you start plummeting down out to the bottom, and you're obviously dropping through famous corners like Pouan, heading all the way down to Blanchimont right at the end. But I mean, this for me is just, and so like you mentioned, but you down your braking, so it is so easy to run a little bit hot in there, and outbrake yourself and push wide, and then you've got these corners that just don't seem to end. So it's also about being able to maintain speed through those corners, being consistent, early turn in, run the car out wide, using curb, and then back in again. So there is so much going on for the drivers here that it is a hectic 50 minutes mentally, and if they were for real, physically as well.
Well, Tasman, I'd like to pass this one on to you. Downhill braking, Marius just mentioned that now. On a flat surface, you brake hard. There might be a couple of percentages in reserve if something goes wrong. 2, 3, 5%. But on a downhill section, something goes wrong, you've braked 5 meters too late, a car turns in front of you, it's a problem.
Yeah, I think, this track is also, it's so easy to hunt the corner hunt the corners. So it's so easy to actually outbrake yourself, but you end up losing so much more time than you do if you just brake that tiny little bit earlier, come off the brakes a little bit earlier, and just roll the corner speed. So this is one of those tracks where you want to go in that little bit faster, but it actually ends up hurting you that much more at the end because there's such long sections or breaks from corner to corner that you actually need to concentrate on your exit speed rather than your entry speed into these corners. So I think it does catch a lot of drivers out, and especially if you're in a race and you want to catch that person in front, it's so easy to outbrake yourself and try and make up all that time on the brakes because that's what you can see the most. But I think you need to take a step back and just slow it down entry and concentrate more on your exits.
Well, that's certainly a homage to the old circuit where it was all about corner exit speeds. It looks like they managed to get some of that essence into this one over here as we go on board with Anna Versace, third place Audi, but Cody Sherritt in second place at the moment, also in an Audi. We've got an Audi front row plus Audi in third as well.
And Bruno in fifth, so he's leapfrogged Morgan. So that's pretty much the end of qualifying. Morgan isn't in the pit, so he's probably still on a last lap to try and get things set up, and so is Bruno. So this qualifying session isn't over. Well, interesting to see how they line up on the grid.
Oh, it's going to be so exciting. I, for one, cannot wait. Folks, stay tuned. We're about to see a battle extraordinaire here at Spa. We'll see you guys after the break. The action continues, and it even continues straight through the break. We just missed it there. Arne Versace slots into second position. And just look at this camera angle. I know that you were saying that these angles don't do the slopes justice, but this certainly is, this comes close. It looks good.
Give me my skateboard, man. Did we give away a skateboard a while back? What did we give away? I think we did. I want one.
There was a monster skateboard that may or may not have been given away, and that person, I would love to fly them up there and attempt this.
And I want to carve that up. I mean, that is, look at that. I mean, in the bottom, blurred out right over there is Eau Rouge. It is nuts. I think, you know, when you go through La Source, and this is what you're looking at, you're kind of going, all right. You start doing that little pull on the harness, Taz, just making sure that the belts are tightened because you know what's coming your way. It is such a beautiful.
I think you do that all the time. I mean, you tighten yourself so tight initially that you can't breathe. And every time you go out on track, you seem to keep on adjusting it. I mean, I don't know how it can get any tighter than what it is.
Well, someone that's certainly tightening his virtual seatbelts is Jordan Sherritt at the front of the grid. We just got to look at him now. A look from his perspective. And on this circuit, I know Jordan raced Formula F4 at one stage. And one of the things that he spoke about as a highlight was leading the pack. And certainly this is a similar feeling. He's got 36 guys behind him.
Yeah.
And
I'm quite interested. I mean, I'd love the game to start them here because this is going to be the longest build-up lap in history. You know, and like in simulator racing, you don't actually need to have started from like halfway through the circuit, dump the guys in there and off you go. But this is going to be a long build-up. So we're going to have a lot to talk about before the race gets underway because it's probably going to be a good 4-minute lap in the build-up.
Sure. What an insane moment that will be. We're going to have to wait, though, because these guys are all getting zoned in. They're all getting focused. We've got Morgan McCall. We've got Junior McCall in the mix there. Junior McCall and Morgan McCall actually nose to tail with Bruno Cadile sneaking his way in front there. And he's going to want to keep that top spot. We saw Cadile last time do exceptionally well at defending. But he did make some mistakes when put under extreme pressure, but I think anybody would have in those situations. I mean, it was just a case of, you know, getting applied pressure for an extended period of time, making one teeny mistake and then paying. He's in the same situation now. He's going to want to right that wrong and make sure no mistakes are made today, and he stays in front of both McCall brothers because, let's face it, there's probably some team orders at the McCall residence right now.
Yeah, I think we've got to cut Bruno some slack because I think we kind of got so used to him driving in a car that isn't the top car to drive. You know,
of course.
And choosing the Merc, and he's had to do a lot of that, and he's just absorbed so much pressure. So when he made that mistake on the last lap, 2 corners to go, we were like, huh? Or did something break on the car, which we know can't happen? But I mean, it's like, did he break a steering wheel? It was just bizarre because he absorbs it so well. But I mean, like we spoke about in the pre-race, I hope he's had 3 weeks to shake that off. So I hope he has, because it was one little mistake and it cost him big time. But for us as spectators and commentators, we love it because it's just made the action and the build-up to finalizing who's going to finish in third at the end of the championship even more exciting for us. But yeah, he's where he needs to be. So that for me was great, that he's in 5th and his title competitor is in 8th. So that psychologically is a good start. Yeah, Junior's there. It's going to be a cracker race. I mean, this track never fails to deliver. I think with 36 cars, we could easily see 90 cars on this track because that's pretty much what they run with per hour. The track is so big. So I think you're going to find there'll be a lot of follow my lead because it is, we spoke about it, quite a difficult track from an overtaking perspective. I know Taz spoke about when you go down the long straight after Radion, a lot of opportunity there. But the tricky thing is you've got to then nail Eau Rouge. And you've got to get that nailed to make sure your drive over the crest of Radion is going to be spot on so you can be close down that back straight. If you mess that up, the overtake opportunity is gone. So look for most of that happening down the Camel Straight, obviously. But it's a very tricky track, I think. It's just a lot of concentration, a lot of patience too. And I think critically what's going to win it is rhythm. You know, you can be great for 49 minutes and make one stupid mistake at that time, and that's the race over. So that's what's going to be tough for the guys.
Yeah, you're 100% right about rhythm. And as we saw at Suzuka, anything can happen, and it happens on the last half of the last lap. So these guys are going to have to stay in it for the entire time. And that's what's important with any sport, especially esports, where you've got to stay so focused. These guys are going to have to stay in it for the entire time. It's 50 minutes of racing that we got to look forward to now as they make their way through the final sector. And this section here, even, is also exceptionally fast, and the drivers go through here from this point pretty much flat out all the way to the very last braking zone. So we're going to see lots of action over here.
Actually, I think, for me, this is probably the easiest place to get a pass done when you go through Blanchimont. Is really through this section here, and then hectic the stop when you get to the bus stop, appropriate name, because you literally do stop dead. So that's where we traditionally see a lot of overtaking happening there. Part of the redesign in 2007 as well was putting that back. So that little corner is crucial, I think, for a real genuine overtaking opportunity for the guys. And then there's also a runoff there. If you do outbrake yourself, you see a lot of guys always pulling straight through that chicane as well.
Yes.
So there's an opportunity here. So this is going to be a cracker race. I'm going to leave it to you. We're getting fine. You lead us out. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, 100%, Marius. This corner over here is going to be critical. I think a couple of guys are probably going to outbrake themselves. They're not going to do it now, though, because this is the start of the race. We're going to go on to this section over here and not start. This is, of course, where the Formula 1 cars start. We will not be starting here. We will be starting around the next corner. So we've still got a couple of seconds to go.
Yeah, so we're going to go around the source. I mentioned that.
Yes.
Jonathan corrected this and said, "No, listen, we're starting on the downhill run to Eau Rouge." But
Yes.
I'm actually glad, because this turn one is a nightmare. I think when everyone is so excited and they're off the line and they're flat out, and then suddenly you would stop the car dead and put it into. I would imagine some of the guys would take.
Isn't that like all corners though? All starts.
No, because not all tracks have a stop dead.
Certainly at the Pro Series, we've seen a lot of that, where the guys try to make it happen on the first corner. Hopefully that's not the case now, as we see the guys lead us out. We got Jordan Shedid right up front, Versaki next to him, Abschmeyer just behind that, Cody Shedid also in the mix there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go racing as they make their way under the turtle banner. We have green flag racing. Yes, we do. Down the hill they go, flat out it is. We on board just behind what looks like Sean Mumford over there. They go through cleanly, all of them.
Arno got the jump. Have a look at that. Arno, that was brilliant. So Jordan's already going defensive. Jason back of him down the Kemmel Straight. Great overtaking opportunity at the end. So let's see who's the last of the late breakers. And Bruno is in there with Cody Sheridan on the inside. What a cracker start. This is what we wanted to see. I'm glad. Well done, Arno, but that is commitment going through. And some.
No, but to me it looked like Arno was a little bit ahead in his box.
But he's allowed to. So that was a mess up. Remember, at this time, in a set of course, so the guys get given the box that they've got to line themselves up in. So if you're sitting far back in your box, which is what Jordan obviously did, well done to Arno. He was in the right position. He got the jump on him. So in real racing, that obviously wouldn't happen, but that is how it works in a set of Corsa. You just saw Jason Webb getting spun around through Lecum. So that's dropped him right to the back. He won't be happy about that. Maybe it's something that Jonathan Benz will be having a look at. So we'll keep a lookout to see if there was any unnecessary contact. But this was a great start. We thought, Jordan's going to run away from it. No, he's like, hey, I've got to do a bit of work here. But great driving by Bruno as well. So he's held his position in 5th. And Morgan McCall's actually dropped 2 places down to 10th. But remember, Jason Webb is showing his 9th now. He's way down. So that would have moved Morgan up. But good racing.
Tight racing all the way around. We see Quade Claessens, Kieran Patterson getting in on the mix there. That's a Ferrari of Stein there on the outside of that corner. The action all the way down the grid. These guys are side by side, and this is a section where they can go side by side here. So no issues there.
Watch the bus stop. They're going through Blanchimont now, which also fully committed. If you do get it wrong, you can run out wide. They've given you time.
2 cross touch. There's someone off in the background there as they make their way into the braking zone. Quade Claessens now goes down through there perfectly as McCall. Audi of King in the mix there. Sorry, that's Ecoat also in the mix there. Action all the way through. Jordan Shedid now in front once again.
Yeah, I see a safety car coming out. Why is the safety car coming out? I see Jonathan Benz saw a safety car. But I'm not too sure. I don't know what's happened. We've obviously missed something. But that can only mean one thing, that there was a pileup that's cost a lot of guys positions. So we'll get some feedback and hopefully a replay on that so we can see what happened. But at a pretty bad time because Jordan actually it'll work out perfectly because Jordan got the pass done before the safety car was deployed. So he should be in that position, I think. We'll have a look and see what. I don't know why. It's only 2 separate big incidents. Hopefully we can get a replay on them and see who's been affected by that. But this again, Taz, I don't know if you've been in any of our places where the safety car deployed, but you do it at Bathurst. Worked a charm because it already just a couple of hours the safety car out. That would have been hilarious.
Jonathan Bent's Jonathan Bent's biting down on his helmet there. Just getting out of that one unscathed. He's going to try and make his way through to the front of the pack. Now the guys behaving themselves nicely now, getting into formation. And we didn't see any of those incidents. We're just waiting for a replay to see if we've got... we're going to try and get you guys that replay to see if we can see exactly what happened there. But from where we were sitting, Marius, everything seemed fine.
No, we didn't see anything major. But you know what the problem is here now? This for me is where the issue in terms of our safety cars deployed. Because everyone's back down. Jonathan is now at the back. So he actually now needs to race through all the guys also slowing down. So it's almost like, you wanted to let the guys continue racing, which obviously they can't in a normal safety car situation because there's been something on track. But because this is virtual racing, there is nothing on track. We're only bringing out the safety car so that guys can get their cars fixed and still be in the race. So it could be a while before Jonathan picks up our leader, which is what we're hoping will happen. So he's going to have to be pedaling the GT4 AMG Merc to, you see, he's backing up here, and these are the wrong guys. Those guys need to go past. Yes, well done, get past. But Jordan Sherritt and the guys actually need to speed up. So this is what is very confusing for guys that watch racing and now watching sim racing for the first time. You would never see this.
Yeah.
We would never be telling Jordan speed up and catch up to the back of Jonathan. Because there'd be something on track that's causing the safety car to come out. But we purely deploying it because a lot of guys were involved in the incident, and for many of them, that could be the end of their race. So if we're able to let race control know, to let Jordan say speed up and catch up to Jonathan, or tell Jonathan to go faster, that'll help, because we could end up being 5 or 6 laps playing silly buggers like this, trying to get back to race speed.
Yeah, we're just waiting for...
Jordan thinks he's the safety car, right?
Yeah, Jordan leading the guys off at the moment. Unfortunately, we're going at a much slower pace than is normal here at the Pro Series. Just waiting for that safety car to get in front there. I think we can probably radio for Jonathan to get that car right to the front of the grid there.
He needs to race. So Jonathan actually needs one that's... Because what Jordan's done here is correct. In a safety car, the safety car warning has come out, so everyone is slowing down. But unfortunately, Jonathan is driving Miss Daisy over there.
Well, he's getting some good ad time though. We got a nice good look at the 80k signage over there. But that's not the idea now, John. No,
but I think what he's decided to do, if I was him, I would actually stop and wait for the guys to catch up. But that is, look, I mean, this is new technology that we are actually pioneering in
exactly.
Assets, of course, and no one else in the world, from my understanding, has thought of bringing this out, and it really works because the 50 lap race and 1 lap in 2 big incidents, and you lose 5 or 6 cars. By the time the guys go back to garage, have effected repairs, they're 3 laps down. 3 laps is done.
Yeah.
That's the race weekend done, and we saw it work out so well at Bathurst because guys at that race that were involved in that first incident actually came back to score points. So that for me is crucial, and why ATK have been pioneers in terms of bringing this in. It really works well. But obviously in this case, because of that crazy long pit lane exit, he's got to go through both pit lanes with a safety car. He's basically coming out at Radion and came out right at the back of the pack. So it's going to take a while to get everyone back together. If we could, it'd be great if race directions could give us some replays of the big incidents, because that would give us something to talk about now instead of us waiting for the safety cars to catch up. I'd love to see what happens.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for those replays to come through. We've on board now with Jason Abschmeyer in 3rd position. The 2 Audis still in front. Nice to see a Porsche throwing the cat amongst the pigeons there. Bruno Cadile in 4th place in the Audi. He's in the Mercedes. He's going to be exceptionally happy about that, I'm sure. Cody Shedder down in 5th now. And Morgan McCall, we were talking about earlier on, in 7th position. So far, Bruno Cadile doing what he needs to do to keep that championship hope for 3rd alive.
Yeah, listen, I mean that puts pressure on big time. And Leslie Oliphant, we spoke about earlier, she's been working together until more ago. Probably not. I don't think the guys are in it to win it for themselves. So we're not going to see Morgan getting much assistance. Replay coming up now. Apparently was Van Rooyen involved in this instance. So if we can see that, it'll let all of you guys who are watching understand why we are under safety car conditions.
Yeah,
So
Jason.
in the pink car.
Oh, Jason Van Rooyen gets a bit of a touch there, goes
Okay.
sideways. Oh my goodness me. More cars get involved. That's Aston Martin there as well. Another Audi, Jason Webb gets involved as well. And that looked like one of the Ferraris there. It could be Nude.
No, I think that was Van Rooyen in the pink car.
Yeah, Van Rooyen in the pink one, the black Ferrari could have been Nude. So yeah, man, that was a fairly big incident with a lot of cars getting innocently tangled up there.
That happens because that's at the end of the Kimball Strait, and you're going through Lecum, which is that right, left, right, and it's quite easy to get a car unsettled over because you are using curbs, and I think that's what's happened. He's obviously got the car a little bit loose, spun it, and again, there isn't much run-up when you're spinning inside into the barrier.
But it's also very blind there. It's also very blind there, Mario. So, I mean, the guys who are coming don't actually know what's just around the corner.
Because
So,
that
when
downhill-
they are, yeah.
It's good. Very good point, Taz. That's where the downhill bit starts. So Jonathan Bentz has caught up with our leader, so that's good news. I don't know, nail it. Go do a couple more laps, but I know
He's going to say it's because he's driving a GT4 car. But we all know that he was pushing on the limit there early on.
It's so funny when you chat to the safety car drivers. And we had the opportunity of interviewing Bernd Schneider, and he was just saying, because they are the safety car, their appearance on television needs to look like it's safe.
Of course.
They are running literally, he says, at like 100% of max of that car with just 1% dialed back. So not allowed to run too far on the curbs. We look at it, especially in Formula 1, and going, are you kidding me? Get a move on. But that car is flat out on the limit with like a multiple DTM champion driving it. And he's still got to make it look safe because it is a safety car. So Jonathan's probably doing the same thing now, getting the guys up to speed. I'm sure he's going to be peeling in pretty soon. Still got quite a way to go around the track. We're still halfway down the drop-down section. But I'm sure we'll be under green flag racing soon. Interesting though, I think obviously the start will again be on the run down into Eau Rouge, I guess, and it won't be. It'll be it must be on the GP start because
Yeah, it will be at the start-finish line. I mean,
Yes.
Jonathan will come into the pits, and Jordan will then back everyone up just before the chicane, and he can obviously go whenever he feels the need to go.
how confusing it gets because they started on the other start grid, but obviously the pit entrance is on the GP start-finish line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's we're going to be starting on a different place to where
It
we
looks
started.
like we're going to start now.
Well, here we go. Looks like we're going to start now. We got Jordan Shedden leading us out. Honor Versace right behind him. Is the car going in? Nope, he's not going in.
No.
He's not going in. False alarm there. As one more lap of Jonathan Bentz on the absent in his GT4 car.
Well, that can only mean, just so people who are watching understand, that can mean that the guys who are doing repairs to their cars haven't got those repairs done and haven't been able to log back into the server. They'll obviously then slot onto the back. So yes, they've been affected. They've lost positions. When the race restarts, they're not starting 3 laps down. They're on the same lap as the leader, but they're going to be in 36th position as opposed to maybe 15th where they were when they started. So smiles all around. We still get to race with 38 minutes to go.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, that system really does pay dividends to the guys that got innocently taken out in those incidents. And motorsport can be cruel sometimes. And, this is a good way to keep all the guys on circuit. We want to see lots of racing. We want to see lots of action. And these guys put a lot of effort and energy to getting to the start line. So, it's a week, 2 weeks of time invested into this. And, the guys take this seriously. I mean, this is serious fun. So it's nice to see the 80K series doing this to give the guys the opportunity to get a little bit too closely stacked up there. I don't know if you guys
really
saw
had
that. I
some
was
more crashes going
holding
on.
my breath there for a second.
The big loser here for me, though, was obviously Jason Webb. We saw him have that spin at Lecum, so he was in last position. And then they call safety cars. He's like, if that had only ever happened just before his spin. But I mean, he was involved in the second part of that incident as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's back to race, but he's he was sitting top 10, and he's now going to be way down the order. I'm not too sure. It'd be nice to see where those guys are, but looks like everyone's back. We've been told safety car is coming in this lap, so we're going to be good to go racing. 37 minutes to go. Man, there's still a lot that can happen. Jordan obviously got the pass down on Arno. It looked like that would have happened probably through the bus stop. So through the build up to that. So he's in the lead, which is where he qualified on pole, but obviously got jumped on the start. So a lot of stuff still to happen. 37 minutes to go, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, when you said he got jumped, I'm picturing like jumped in a bad neighborhood, but that's certainly what it was of the start line. I mean, an unbelievable start there. I did not think that Jordan Shedid would get outdone by Arno Versace on the start line, but that does mean that going into the restart now, Arno Versace has the confidence to know that in that situation, he can get the jump on Shedid. And what is that going to mean going into that first air quotes lap?
Yeah, because it's, I mean, like we were chatting with Tasman and yourself earlier, it's just obviously quite tricky in a set course with that little box. We obviously can't see it, so you guys watching with us what that box looks, but when the drivers are in car, they've actually got a little box that they've got to position their car in. So if you hang too far back, you end up losing 2 or 3 meters on the start, and that's what happened to Jordan. We see some guys in Bentleys flying past and kind of rejoin. So that's a late bloomer. I don't know if that's going to hold things up even further.
Late bloomer, I like that. I like that.
He got released very late there, didn't he?
No, well, he might have had massive repairs. He just logged in. So I don't know if they're going to pull another safety lap here, because in theory they should, so he can get onto the back. He's not even listed there. So I'm not sure who that Bentley was. Van Collier.
That would have been Isherwood. That would have been Jason Isherwood.
There he is, 36. Yeah. Okay, so Jason's got a very, very hot lap to run quickly to catch up to the back of these guys. Look, man, this is pioneering new technology. It might not be perfect, but I love the fact we saw it in Formula One today. Three red flags, crazy.
Yeah, these things happen, and you know what? For me, this is the excitement of racing, because now we get to see a restart. The safety car goes in, the guys get a little bit too closely bunched up there. Jordan Shedid in the lead there, puts it down, and Arno Versace this time does not get the jump. But Abschmer, though, having a look on Arno Versace there, we're trying to get a closer look what's happening further back. All the same so far. Bruno Cadilli, the big winner, now up in 4th position.
Yeah, Taz, I mean, this is something that you kind of want to capitalize on in real racing terms, and none of the guys seem to actually figure out. Maybe they're not used to, because it is new technology, simulator racing, safety car, but you want to be on the guy's bumper, door to door with him. When he goes, you go, and have a look. I mean, it's like pedestrian now. It's such a great opportunity to mug a few guys on the restart. It's been lost for most of it.
Yeah, I mean, the safety car can work in your favor, but also it can be really frustrating, because you can obviously see the guy in front of you, or the leader of the race, but the guy in front of you is going so slow, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So, it can get really frustrating at times, but also the key element or key point behind a safety car is never to watch the car actually directly in front of you, but rather the car just further along. So if you can see the leader, he's always the best car to look at, because when he goes, you can sort of retaliate, where if you're watching the guy in front of you, you always end up having too big of a gap crossing the line.
But you know what the hassle is here, because you're running into a bus stop. So great vantage point, because you can actually see the leader going through the bus stop and you in 10th or 12th position. But if the guy in front of you is sleeping, you can't pass him. So you can only go. So that's what's also so frustrating, because you are relying on a lot of guys to get things right. But look, I mean, my boycott of Formula One continues, but I heard that apparently that was what was an issue with the one red flag, was slowing the cars down too much with the restart under safety car.
What happened was Bottas actually just continued slowing the field down and was warming up his tires literally just before the line. So the cars from further back were obviously expecting to carry on going, and didn't realize that Bottas was actually still really slow. So, at their fault for not watching ahead, I guess, but also Bottas, it's not normal for them to take it all the way up to the line before they actually accelerate.
Yeah, because what we normally see, looks like a little pass going on there. It looks like Quaid's Who's fighting there? Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, we normally see the guy 2 or 3 corners before he weaves, and then nails it and tries to get the little jump. But yeah, it's, I mean, fully Bottas is right to do that. Nice little battle here. I think is that Marcus Steyn in the Ferrari and Quade Claassens.
Yes.
Side on the drop down to Eau Rouge. I can tell you now, I was going to back out here because you can't both go through here side by side. They're going to try.
Oh! Quaid goes down the outside there. Quaid runs wide. Another Audi comes flying past sideways into the wall. Goes that Audi. Oh my goodness, that's Eco. And these two land up side by side once again. Eco with big damage there. And another car back further back. That looks like one of the calls.
That was contact coming out of Radion.
Ooh, there was a big off there into Eau Rouge. That wasn't one of them your calls. I apologize. That could have been Lodgia. Yep, Lodgia's in the pits. So that looked like Benjamin Lodgia coming off at Eau Rouge in spectacular fashion. I hope we get to see a replay of that.
This is what we were talking about, though, you know, with the simulator kind of reading the situation, because you saw there was quite a dramatic correction from Quaid's point of view, because obviously he's getting the warning car right. And we've been told by David Perrell that it's very difficult in the game to actually go door to door because the simulator tends to do some funny things. So he obviously made a big move to avoid contact and took the shortcut over Radion. So at the end of the day, no problem, because they're both still here racing, and in theory Marcus, who was the guy that did take the corner correctly, has got that position, so everything worked out just fine in that instance. So I don't know if Eco was just behind them. He might have thought, well, I'm lifting off here because it looks like there's going to be contact, and that's what put his out in a spin, because that is not a point on the track where you can lift off. You've got to remain fully committed, and that is what made that accident in Formula 2, in FP2 last year, so dangerous through there, because it is blind. You can't see it, you can't lift off. And yeah, if there's a car in the middle of the track, well, dude, you're hitting it, you know, or you're hitting a barrier. So yeah, hectic, fully committed corner that.
Yeah, what a didn't turn out well for everybody. We had 2 cars go off badly, Benjamin Lodger being another one of them. And that's the thing about the circuit, as we were saying earlier, on 1 minute you've just set your fastest lap, and the next minute you're stuck in the barrier wondering what just happened. And that's exactly the kind of risk-reward factor we're seeing a lot of now, as Quade Claassens now makes his way back up on the back of Mornay Steyn. Quade Claassens in the Porsche over here. Steyn running a little bit wider than Quade, but look at the Ferrari get the jump on him on the corner exit there. Managed to get the power down much sooner, did Steyn, as they make their way down Eau Rouge now, and just watch the cars as they bottom out. All that compression all the way through the right hand, and now both of them doing well. Is that a little bit of a slide there by Steyn? The Ferrari's so balanced.
Yeah, listen, I mean, that is full commitment. The car gets so light through there, and you kind of, I don't know, Taz, probably like Potters, just hoping that everything's going to stick together and you're going to come out.
It's always going to be one of those corners where you're telling yourself every single lap, no matter how many times you've got it right, you're telling yourself, flat, keep it flat, keep it flat, keep it flat, keep it flat. And it's like you make it through and you're like, oh!
That was Benjamin Lodger. Somebody else got taken out as well. And that was one of the things that you didn't want to have happen, Tasman. The separation between going flat, losing time, and going flat, taking risks.
Well,
sometimes it's a little bit better to like just have that little bit of a lift and make sure that you get through it, rather than I just made it. Oh, goodness me.
A break.
Exactly.
Lodger was a pinball through Radion, because I mean he ran wide and hit. Jeez,
that was hard.
Hit the inside barrier, shot across and hit the outside. I mean, in real terms, there would be nothing left of that car or him, honestly.
Yeah, the engine would go flying. The engine would go flying off of that car.
That was a proper impact. And I think sometimes, like, that's what we need to realize. You know, you watch this and then you want to tune into the real racing again, just to keep perspective. Because, the car carried on and pulled into pits and you're going to do some repairs. But that would have been red flag, chaos, bits of car everywhere. And I think that for me is still the difficult thing, is people just need to get their heads around. There's that I'm bulletproof mentality that comes with simulator racing, because there is no real consequence, you know. So it's great because we can race and we can get to drive tracks and we can get to not hurt ourselves and not pay for repair bills. But I think it also makes you just quite appreciate just how intense motor racing is.
Well, speaking of intense, the McCall brothers getting a little bit intense. Both of them there. Junior McCall having a look on his older brother. No team orders there by the looks of things. Unless Senior McCall, as I call him, their dad, shouts from inside, "Hey!"
Listen,
That's all. I don't know. I don't know what's happening in the household.
remember they were sharing a wheel at one stage. Just
Yes.
for driving, considering they're sharing a wheel. It's like twins, you know. It's like Siamese twins at a racing track. But they've both got wheels, so that's all good. But who's that diving up the inside? Is that Marcus Steyn getting another position? But he is on fire in that Ferrari, because I think he's just got past, definitely got past Morgan, or is that Heineke that he's got past as well? I'm just trying to have a look there. But that Ferrari is looking super planted. We were on board with it. Oh, here's a dive up the inside. This is where the guy. Let's be aware. It's a long right.
Wow. That was a good move.
That's Morgan taking that position back. So you can see how important it is to Morgan that he doesn't end up losing too many positions and points here, because that was a committed move through that right-hander. It's one of those right-handers that never ever stop, and you are dropping. So patient in terms of wanting to come back on the power. And for Marcus, he must be thinking, I need to go. The guy's next to me. But you can't, because you're going to spin out or run wide. So that was good for both of them.
Now we're looking at Junior McCall with Quaid Classes, the other McCall brother, also getting involved in a side-by-side tussle over here. He's still got the inside line. No, he doesn't. Oh, does he? Now we've got Patterson getting involved in the mix. No, he does not. Claessens that closes the door on Junior McCall, and Claessens does well to get away. Now Junior McCall having to deal with Patterson as well.
I'm just very impressed, like by Junior there as well. You can actually quite clearly back out of it, and that for me is sensible. But you've got 25 minutes left on this long track. Regroup and make a clean pass at some point, as opposed to trying to put your nose in places where you're not going to see people getting passes done. But I mean, the fight continues here with Marcus in that Ferrari and Morgan up ahead going through the bus stop.
Oh, Junior's hard on the brakes. They almost gets in contact with Claessens over there, and Patterson now pushes him wide. And the action is all over the place over here, and more action in the screen below.
But this is what I mean. I told you I was watching the racing last night, the GT Cup European Championship, and it's like this is what the guys were doing. They were sharing body paint. It was unbelievable spot. And what I'm loving here is everyone's racing. No one's knocking each other off.
Oh dear, we got something unfolding here, going through a roof side by side. Is Morgan and Patterson. Oh, are they going to come out? Yes, they do. They come out in one piece. Morgan and Patterson side by side. Morgan, or at least McCall, gets the better of Patterson that time. But Patterson's not going to back out.
Now, Patterson's got the run down here to Lecum. Great overtaking opportunity. Lost the late breakers. If we stay on it, we'll see now. I'm expecting that Porsche to dive. Look, side by side. As they go, and there's contact. So Junior and Patterson made contact through Lecum, which is such a critical place for overtaking opportunity-wise, but very, very difficult. Somebody's got to back out through the right-hander. So, yeah, I'd like to see that again.
I've got my hands on my head at the moment. Oh, what a good tussle! And just as we were saying earlier on, that side-by-side racing is possible here, but the risks certainly are high, just like in single-seater racing, isn't it?
I think the risks in single seats are a little bit higher, because you can't exactly rub next to someone.
Not at all.
You can in T3. If you start touching wheels and stuff, you end up ending up on your head rather than anything else.
Cars fly up as someone goes on the grass there. What's happening? Oh, that is Claessens gets taken out. Claessens is out. I think somebody went down the inside. The Ferrari also in the background there as Claessens rejoined.
I can tell you what happened there. That was Morgan McCall you saw diving up the inside.
It looked like it.
We were watching the battle with Quaid and Marcus Steyn, and I think he's gone and collected both of them. So that is a real unfortunate, because you remember the battle was between Morgan and Marcus. So something's happened because Morgan's dropped further down, but we both picked up on that. There was some car that was not on track, and I think he was on the grass trying to get this thing stopped. So I'd like to see that replay again. Find himself in a little bit of trouble there, taking out two cars, Quaid and Marcus Steyn. See, Marcus has dropped down to 16th, Quaid down to 12th. But interesting, I'm just having a look. We haven't spoken about our leader, Jordan right up top, 10 laps down, Jason Upsmeyer in second position, and Bruno in third under all sorts of pressure from Arno Fasaki. So while we've been watching the pack racing, there's actually been quite a lot of movements up at the top. So brilliant for Bruno. This is committed driving. We know how fast Arno and the Audi is around here.
He has a look down the inside there. Has a look down the inside, does Versace. But, sorry, Grobler.
Sorry, there was a replay below as well of Junior and Kieran Peterson coming together. I didn't get to see it on the big screen. We're so busy watching the live. But if we get a replay of those again, it'd be great to actually to see them. They're definitely probably going to be part of our incident reports tomorrow, Taz. But I'll be interested to see if any of these are issued in race penalties, which obviously always help our situation.
Yeah,
But we
good luck
always
with
like
that,
some action-packed racing, don't we? I mean, it's a little bit boring if you have follow the leader all the way around. I don't mind our incident reports being full.
Plenty for us to report on. Did you also notice Cody Sherritt? He was in the top 4. So I don't know what's happened with Cody. I don't know if he had a spin and there was damage and he's gone into the pits, but that only picked up on now. So there's been a lot of movement. We've so been involved in watching the racing that we haven't actually been looking at who's been where. So there's been so much action in that track.
I tell you, I missed that bottom screen completely because I'm enthralled at the moment. We've got Corne Strauss, our Pro-Am winner, getting pressure now from Quade Claessens, mixing it up. Kieran Patterson just behind that. Skitter as well in the mix. And look at that. Now he tries to make the move on Strauss, and the action is absolutely everywhere, Marius. These guys are racing today. They've come to play.
Well, watch. I mean, he's lining this up perfectly as they go through Stavelot and heading to very, very fast Blanchimont, and then obviously overtake opportunity at the bus stop. So have a look for some action heading into the heavy braking point here. This for me is a crucial place for overtaking. Kieran Peterson coming back at, I think it's Bernard King in the Lexus. You can see if you do make a mistake, you can run wide. They've put that there. But yeah, it looks like Corne's gone and blocked that off. That McLaren's very fast through Blanchimont, fully committed through there. Kieran Patterson got the move done. It looks like Bernard King was the big loser, the Lexus running very, very wide, but that's their fault. And exactly.
Yeah, we got the replay of Quade coming up now. And oh my goodness me. Okay, so we blame McCall. McCall had nothing to do with that. He was on the grass though. He was on the grass in our defense.
Well, very nice that we get to see that replay. So well done, Morgan, for stopping a car on the grass. Assuming that's why the replay is always so good, so we can see. So that Marcus getting it wrong and taking out Quade Claessens. So that was
what a pity.
Yeah, the two of them were having a great battle. Did you see how unsettled Corne looked coming over the top of Radion? There was a nice little twitch on the front end of that car. I'm like, oh, right at that point, you're saying new change of race suit.
Oh, can you imagine? And the pressure that he's under at the moment as well, as we now go on board with Junior McCall leading off his brother Morgan McCall with Jason Gray just behind that in the Audi. The Audis, we know, very quick around the circuit. So these two 80k drivers are going to be under immense pressure right now. The car that they're trying to reach up front looks like an Aston Martin. This car's getting lapped by the looks of things. It's Heineke, according to the logs, with Leslie Oliphant another second further down the road. So there's a big gap between McCall and Heineke. So the battle is going to stay in the family for now as the two McCall brothers try and figure things out.
But listen, we haven't even mentioned JC him up place. So there's been so much movement, and we're kind of talking about the usual suspects, and then a couple of guys that have been sitting in 10th or 11th have just methodically been capitalizing on little mistakes and incidents and errors, and there he is sitting in 5th position. So another solid out. Two Mercs in the top 5, which is brilliant. And we know Leslie Oliphant is no slouch, and neither is Chris Heineke. So that is some good racing going on there. I'm sure if we end up fast forwarding 17 minutes, you'll find if things are unchanged, Junior will pull to the left and let pass us to score. Pretty sure that'll happen. Otherwise, there'll be no supper for Junior.
Tasman, you're from a racing family. You know what's up. What's going to happen? What's happening at the McCall house at the moment?
You guys always ask me this question between the brothers. I said, like, if it was between me and my brother, or my brother and I, let's say, my brother definitely wouldn't give me the position.
As he would in this situation where Junior's not in the championship. So if you were in the championship fighting your he would say to you, yeah, take one position. I mean, it would be literally team orders. So I expect that sort of thing to happen, and I'd be totally okay with that. If it was a straight fighter, of course, never. Would never yield.
It's always a straight fight out though. That's what you don't understand. Like, it's always They're gonna walk around the house for the rest of the week going, "Hey, buddy, I got you this weekend. Like, you gotta work a little bit harder next weekend."
You know what? But there's also the other side of it. If he did let you, sure, can't be so lucky when I've got to actually pull over, slow down by 2 seconds.
Oh, the racing on the track is getting intense here with Kieran Patterson. And that looks like Cody Shedder. Now Cody Shedder gets past as well. That's staying, yes. Yeah. Cody Shedder trying to claw his way back through. We saw earlier on Bernard King also getting involved. So, I think we're getting used to seeing side-by-side action these days with the Pro Series. It's nice to know that there's a lot of action happening on the circuit. We never have a boring race. It's great.
Yeah, but I think the sort of track as well, a lot of these, because of the flowing nature of these corners, you are lining the one up for the next. So that's why the guy's trying to stick there, whether you are on the outside, because this corner is going to give you the inside. So as long as the guy you're racing with is giving you the rightful space on track.
Yes.
And that is what we've been seeing a lot of, because we've seen a lot of cars side by side going through 2 or 3 corners, because they know they're trying to line up for the ultimate overtake 3 corners down the line. So it's been amazing to watch. Breaking there, and that is Honor Fasahi.
He's now all over the back of Bruno Cadile. And as we say again, Bruno Cadile again experiencing extreme pressure in an extreme situation with 16 minutes to go.
Oh, but it looked like he was also putting Jason under a bit of pressure. So the Merc is running flipping well here. And I imagine it would be, we knew the Merc is going to be the big circuits. So when we went to Monza and those sort of tracks, it ran really well. The balancing performance obviously suiting it at those circuits. And Spa certainly is a big, open flowing track. And that's why no surprise to see the Merc right up there. So yeah, some good racing. This is an interesting battle because it's crucial for the championship, but also the guys are fighting for podium here, and that's big honours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Cadile kind of needs to look at this. If it starts getting a little bit too much of a tussle going on, he kind of have to go, "Okay, buddy, you go. I'll just fall in behind you. I've got 5 places on the guy that I need to beat in the championship, and I'd rather take those points than end up crashing in a stupid little incident."
This is why we have a woman with a brain dating panel, because the Oaks would just be ego, testosterone, red mist, and you come with logic. Lovely. Good point.
That was one of the more logical things that's ever been said on this podcast.
And that is why you guys have me here. You're welcome.
But now, I'm going to say beautiful, lovely sentiment ain't going to happen.
Well, let's see, because the White Rabbit Gaming guys would be in his ear right now, also telling him what we're saying on the broadcast, I'm sure. And telling him, you know what, maybe that might be worth consideration. I don't know, but it depends on the pressure, though. If he's able to stick it out in front of Asahi, no problem. But if Asahi starts to have a look down the inside on some precarious places, then
let him go.
Yeah, I think you want that podium spot for sure, and I think he seems to be fast. So I wouldn't be worried with 14 minutes to go about giving up those positions. So Cody had made some places up, and I think he's going to make a mistake, because you remember he was up at 14th, fighting with Marcus Steyn, and now he's back down to 18th.
What a shame!
So Cody's going to made another mistake. And that, I think that's Noah Hendricks getting it so sideways in the Ferrari. So I think he's got the pass done on Noah Hendricks now. But yeah, Cody's obviously, we know he's got out and out. It's just the mistakes on the team.
Yeah, Cody certainly has out and out pace when it comes to lap pace. But the problem is, I think we've got some straw sounds in the background there.
Oh yeah, that's that. Sitting on my lap.
I thought somebody's having a massive swig of milkshake or something.
That's the noises the guys were making in their helmets when they were side by side through a rouge.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's my corner.
Times like that, you need to bite down on your virtual mouth guard and just hope for the best. We've got a similar situation unfolding now. Quade Claessens, and that is Jason Gray, looks like, in Audi. Quade squeezing him to the right-hand side. Jason Gray's going to have a look now as they go over the crest. Does not. Jason runs a little bit wide there.
How many times are they actually allowed to do that?
It looks like that's what we were talking about in the pre-race. I mean, so for me, what Jonathan Bentz was saying is that the game's the simulation is kind of assessing it and saying, right, it's a high-risk corner. The guy's made a little mistake, so I'm not going to penalize him. But I disagree with that, because if that was happening like that, there was no got to take the call. And if I know I can keep straight lining it, and I'm not going to get into any.
No, you're not going to back off, and you're actually not going to lose any time on the guy in front of you. So I think the game should. I think the game does it a little bit backwards.
The system's pretty solid because you get 3 warnings, and then your fourth, it tells you your final warning is your third warning, and then the fourth time, and it's not just that corner. You kind of accumulate all those warnings on various corners, and I think the kind of guy that's going to run wide there all the time is probably going to make that mistake, especially on this circuit somewhere else. So eventually, I think like just over there, we saw Dani. I think that was Dani Miller on the perfect line by the looks of things, but a couple of centimeters to his right, and then he gets a warning. So I think the game would, over 50 minutes, accumulate enough to punish the right guys.
If we're watching him, I think he's going to get a drive-through any minute. He's already gone all 3 corners that we watched.
But Ernest, if you go back to Paul Ricard, remember through the fast right-hander, they actually had those little markings. That was quite clear. If you touch one of that's a warning. They're done. We don't have that showing. I mean, Ivan obviously driven the Assetto Corsa here, so I don't know what happens if you do go over there. But for me, it just seems like a lot of guys are going to go. I can straight line it here if Assetto Corsa isn't jumping on that and saying there's a warning. So we don't know if it is, but a lot of pressure off of you if you know you don't have to worry about it that much. You can just straight line.
Look, you certainly can back out of going. If you get it wrong, I think you can certainly back out a little bit less than you normally would have to. Definitely the case. And someone that's not backing out is Jason Webb. He's in 15th position now, having worked his way after a treacherous race. Now carving his way through the grid.
Oh, that's a proper comeback drive, because you remember he obviously spun right on that opening lap and was lost, and then we had the safety car, and now he's up to 15th. Kieran Patterson, I think, has obviously gone and made a mistake as well, because I've just noticed that he's dropped back down. Remember, he was also sitting at around about 12th, so obviously he's gone and made a mistake. Cody is also behind him in 17th, so well done, Jason. I mean, this is a cool, calm head, and trying to get up to 10th position. I don't know if he's going to make it. He's quite a lot of ground to catch up there, but anything can happen with 10 minutes to go. This is like the highlight zone.
Oh, here we go. Can you feel it? As soon as that clock strikes 10 minutes, something happens in the air at the pro
it is about to happen. We just don't know where.
Ernest, are you wearing a white glove? But it sounds like an excellent thriller. But
it's happening, bro. It's happening. And the Pro Series never fails to deliver in that way. And Morgan McCall is the person we've got eyes on at the moment. He's got the most to play for right now.
But he's the big loser here at the moment. I don't know what the point. I went to school in PE. Maths wasn't my strong point. Someone add up what the point difference is there. But 3rd to 10th, if it stays as it is, Bruno is going to final round in Kyalami, beginning of October, in 3rd position in the championship. It stays as it is now.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff for Kadile, then the big winner here today. Even though it is nice to see Sherrod going from start to finish so far without incident.
Well, not really start to finish. Well, the restart.
Yeah.
But
restart to finish. There we go.
But guys,
because we love it when the guy in the front just runs away with it. Hey guys.
No. I never said that. All I'm saying is that he deserves to have a race where he leads from start to finish, because his qualifying performance is always so good.
But hang on, Taz, you missed it 2-3 weeks ago. So 10 minutes to go. Bruno Kadile, I think, was in 3rd. Actually, no, he was in 4th. 3rd or 4th. And Jordan was running away with it. And on the last lap, that all changed. Jordan finished like maybe 10th or 12th. It spun second last corner, like, what happened? So, listen, stuff can happen. On board here with Corne Strauss, what a fantastic view. Coming on the back of Jason Gray. Here is a pass down the Kibble Straight. You see Jason's gone defensive already, and they come to La Cumia. So this Corne can stay on the outside. The first bit of the corner is a right-hander. If you stay there under braking, next one to the left. And he hasn't. He's backed out. He's trying for the undercut here. It's going to work, though. But that was good defensive driving by Jason. Super brave on the brakes. Cornet backing out of that wisely too, because you come to this long right-hand downhill, difficult braking point, the right-hander that never stops turning right, and this is where they drop now onto the Super Tube ride back down to the bus stop. This for me is the best part of the track. I love it. Everything just links, super committed. One little mistake here and you lose your... So this is good to be smooth through here.
Fantastic smooth driving there from Corne Straas, doing well to at least put some pressure on Jason Gray. He fell off a little bit there, got a little bit squirrely, but did manage to fend off Bernard King, who's right behind him in the Lexus, also having a bit of an interesting race today, having a lot of battles as we saw earlier on. Bernard King this time trying to apply some pressure to Strauss. Strauss, our previous winner from a Pro-Am race, is now mixing it up in 12th position. I think he's going to be very happy with that performance as he now gets ever closer to Jason Gray.
Yeah, but listen, say for Bernard King, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is his best pro result. These are guys, like you said, that have played in Pro-Ams for a long time and worked their way up over the 11 rounds to be at Spa now, being super competitive in pros. And I think that is what's amazing with the series. Oh, look at him through Blanchimont. He's got a proper run on him now into the bus stop.
Ooh.
It's so easy to go defensive here, you know.
Yeah.
Break. Gonna try. Watch Cornet's got. Oh, braked himself.
Oh,
Jason.
no.
Braked himself.
Oh,
So
no.
there we go.
Oh no, and he spins out
Oh.
as well. He spins out as well.
I
And
thought he
it
was doing
goes-
the Professor Suzuki. I think he thought he had won. He was doing the Jason Webb up to 14th. Jason Gray dropping down. So Jason's doing a great job coming up on the back of Marcus Stein, who we know was involved in that incident way earlier with Quade Clarkson. So 6 minutes to go in this race. Great drive by Jason Webb. Bernard King up at 12th. I promise you, this is the best results for them. And the sad thing is, I don't think can do anything about Quade Clarkson, who's a couple of seconds up the road from him. So he 10th place, not what he wants for his championship.
Not at all, and definitely not what Jason Webb wants, where he's either 14th position. Even though he won the Pro-Am race before, I think he should be quite a bit further up based on pace, but doing well to claw his way back and now starting to apply pressure to Stein in the Ferrari. This Mercedes-Benz is exceptionally fast at the circuits. I think Stein's going to have a tough time as soon as they hit anything that looks remotely like a straight.
Yeah, I love this corner Rivage. It's so flippin' amazing for me. And they drop down to Pouillon, which is also fully committed.
Yeah.
You know, everything's downhill, everything's under braking, barriers are close. You know, and I think that's, as a driver, they talk about tunnel vision. Well, this literally is tunnel. If you get it wrong, you are going to be clattering into that vision of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a really dramatic circuit. Brought us some
I
pretty
think at night time this track must be pretty scary.
What?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see much, isn't it? It's going to be really dark at the top end of the
And
circuit.
to think they do a 24-hour race here.
No, it's madness, actually.
Love it. It's coming up. It's coming up early next month. Can't wait. And it's going to be absolutely flipping amazing to watch. Because it is. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it must be 100 plus cars, all GT3 cars, all the best GT drivers in the world be there. And I mean, the best driver in our race today by a country mile is Jordan Sherritt. I mean, days ahead of everyone else. And that was the pace that we've seen from him. And like we mentioned right in the beginning, being so quick for the last couple of rounds. He should have been winning all of these back-to-back, but it's been a couple of silly mistakes there, exceeding track limits, then getting dropped off the server, and he really should have been in with a shout for the championship had he have started from the beginning. But yeah, he's scoring points now when he can. I mean, our championship does it. Jadwar, who's second in the championship, not yet either. So important that the guys score maximum points now, and that's why I got Jason Upsma in second position. That's still third. It looks like he's got almost a second of Arnaud Fisaki. These guys haven't actually changed much. It's been like this lap off lap. So they know where to defend and then. So this has been a good battle to watch. Apparently, I think as Cody Sherritt pulled into which we've heard from our race control. So yeah, his nightmare race day continues. If you remember, he qualified, I think, in third. So won't be happy with that.
Wow. What a pity.
He won't be having any braking rights at home this week.
Yeah, that's going to be an awkward dinner there. That's going to be an awkward dinner. But that's how it must go, though. If you've got a racing family like that, I mean, that's how it must go. One day you win, one day you both win, one day one loses. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, one day you eating at the main table. I mean, that's pretty much how it is in the Pepper house, not like. One day
Lucky my brother doesn't live at home, so
1 week Pepper, the next week you assault. Oh, this is a great battle, this. I mean, remember Marcus Dane was way up.
Oh, you got to replay at the bottom there.
that was good, actually.
That was Cody Shedder, and that's what happened to Cody Shedder earlier on.
Yeah, you know, I'm happy if people lean on people, but that's, slamming into people doesn't work, and Cody obviously calling it quits. But look at Jason all over the back of Marcus Dane, so expect me an overtake coming up here. This is, you got.
Oh, Jason Webb through this fast sweeping left-hander gets through. He is side by side now. Ferrari runs wide. Jason takes the position. Wow, that was that was a fast section, and he certainly did get past.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, I've just picked up on race control here, 5-second penalty for Cody Sherritt. So I think that's why he decided to and rather just call it a day, which to me is rather irritating. Fix the car, finish the race, live with your penalty. But look, that's something that's got to really iron out in simulator racing if it's to be taken legitimately as a world sport. Is that whole I'm out here, eject. I mean, we haven't mentioned the Wilkin name. I was hoping he would man up and be here after his stupid brain fart that he had 3 weeks ago, but he hasn't. He'll just go and race in another series. So that doesn't do much for credibility at all. So pity that Cody's backed out of that.
Yeah, what a pity indeed, Cody in the pits, but his brother in the lead. Ironic turn of events for the Sherritt brothers. We on board early on with Jason Webb, fully committed earlier on with an overtake maneuver. I was stunned that he pulled that off, but that is typical Jason Webb, able to really put that car on the limit through there, clawing his way back through. But the other Mercedes, and the man of the moment certainly is Bruno Cadile, doing exactly what needed to be done and finishing in third, well, with 28 seconds to go as they go past the back marker.
Yeah, there was issue where I think it's well done. He's moved out the way, then let the guys through. One thing you don't want now is back markers in such a close battle. But Bruno's having a proper look at Jason here. I think what Tasman was saying, he doesn't really have to worry about Arno. It seems like he's super hungry. I mean, he's on the podium, but I think he won second. White Rabbit racing second and third at the moment. Blue flags being shown, guys diving out of the way, which is very, very. 3 minutes to go. It's actually race over, so we should be coming down already. Wow.
Sure. They've got one more lap to go by the looks of things, and we've heard before that the White Rabbit Gaming guys do not have team orders. So this is an on-track battle that's taking place with Versace looking on all the while. They make their way through Eau Rouge now. You were saying, Marius.
Let's just have a look right behind you. JC Grob in the blue AMGs under pressure from Leslie Oliphant as well, and just behind there's Chris Heineke. So there are a lot of battles. Listen, we're looking at the fight for second to seventh at the moment. None of those positions are consolidated with 7 kilometers of Spa-Francorchamps to go. Our word, we're going to come down to the bus stop like 3 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness me. See, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to do the commentator's curse.
Yeah, you guys are going to jinx it again.
If you think about Hiroshima is a fast left-hander, and you've got the super fast left-hander off the back straights at Suzuka before the chicane. Very similar. Weirder things have happened. Twilight Zone.
Weirder things have happened in the Twilight Zone indeed, and as they make their way down the hill there, we're on board now with Jordan Sherritt all on his own. What a fantastic drive from him so far, start to finish in the Audi. Unfortunately, he did lose out in the first session, but a brilliant restart from him saw him take it all the way to what is hopefully going to be a checkered flag in the next couple of moments.
I think this is only his second win in the 80K Pro Series, in the Pro Division. He should have won so many more. He was on course for probably 2 or 3 others. This is well deserved. You'll get the checkered flag. Well done. And then let's cut back to the action, because there's chaos coming down the track. There is battle coming. We've got Blanchimont, we've got the bus stop. Please, let's go and have a look. Well done, Jordan. Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. This is the thing we want to see. We got Bruno Cadile Fasaki right behind him. But Jason Abschmeyer doing really well to hold off all the pressure. Here's the move we're talking about. Is anybody going to be able to get close enough? The Audi comes all the way to the back of the Mercedes-Benz. But it looks like Jason Abschmeyer is going to take second place. Bruno Cadile gets third. Fasaki gets fourth. What a turn of events. These guys have done brilliantly well. The Ferrari gets out of the way there to make sure that the rest of the field can make their way through across the line. We got on board with Quade Claessens in 9th position. Wow.
Just up ahead was Junior McCall there in the bottom in 8th, so that's solid. Quade Claessens in 9th, obviously involved in that incident with Marcus Stan, so that knocked him way down, so he won't be happy about that. And then Morgan McCall like in 10th, so things have really been shuffled. Championship battle for third place. What a race at Spa-Francorchamps. Have a look at Marcus outbreaking himself. Jason Webb trying to what a great
King through as well. King sneaks a position as well. And Jason Webb across the line. What a comeback from him, as you were saying, Marius.
Well done. Great racing at Spa-Francorchamps. Well done to Bernard King as well. I think that's his best result.
It's not over yet. Donnie Miller gets on the grass there. Now trying to have a look at Noor Hendricks. He goes for the undercut around the outside. Noor Hendricks defends, runs wide. It's a bit slippery out there. But Miller does not manage to get him. Well done, though. Good attempt. Nonetheless, more action. G-Max Smith now comes through as well in 21st position. Another White Rabbit gaming car. And he makes a wide turn there. That'll be the last car we'll be following across the line. Ladies and gentlemen, what a race as the White Rabbit gaming guys cross the line together. Fitting finish there. We'll see you guys after this break.
Let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me Now we're saying I've been going to the top and I got what they not, so I know that they hate that. But he had to see him all the way into the right in the zone now. And all these men gonna tell you what I did and they twisting their words till I fall out. But I know that, so I keep what I'm doing cause I own that. And I stay in the lab and I kill everything, but I don't ever move from my code. So finally back in my home. I'm working, I saw no that's why I had me a drum. Hands to my flow, and I just leave it there. All in, can't beat me up cause I'm back in my zone now.
Having a great strap and almost banging wheels.
Cause I'm back in my zone now.
That goes really nowhere. That's good. Settle down.
We are back as we look at the top 3 finishers. In third place, Bruno Cadile in the Mercedes-Benz. A fantastic drive and a fitting finish in third, because this now puts him in third place contention for that championship. We're waiting for those official results to come through. I'd love to see what the points difference is. Jason Abschmeyer, one of his best recent finishes. He's going to be happy with second position, but Jordan Sherritt in first position. Wow, it's nice to finally see him get that win, a deserved win after all this time. I know he's won before, but it feels like he should have won a couple more races. Marius, what do you think?
No, I mean, that's what I said. I mean, he's been the dominant force in the ATK Pro Series since pretty much midway through the season. But there've just been some silly things that have cost him, and it's unfortunate because I think we would have found ourselves going down to the wire with the championship. But I mean, well done, obviously, to him today. Managing, you can be fast in qualifying, you need to back it up. Race day, and he's done that, ran away with it. But such good racing right through the field. I mean, that battle for second, third, 4th, it was all the way down to 7th, went right down to the checkered flag. And that's what we want to see. We want to see GT3 cars going door to door. But I mean, yeah, you mentioned Bruno Cadile. He's been in 3rd quite a few times now. And he's had a fantastic also late charge in the season. And I think he's probably going to be about 5 points ahead. I think there's probably been maybe like a 5-point swing on this position for him. So going into the final round in Kyalami, it's going to be a cracker.
Insane stuff to look forward to the final round of Kyalami, and Bruno Cadile now starting to show a little bit more pace than Morgan, at least at the moment. Morgan McCall has now got everything to play for in that championship title contention. And as we said earlier on, Marius, there were battles happening all the way down all the way down the grid. We had Jason Webb carving his way through. We had Cody Shedid having a series of bad luck to fall all the way down.
Yeah, not bad luck. I mean, Cody's got the pace, but we've just seen him. He just makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And he's clattering into cars. He got a 5-second penalty and jumped out of the game. So, yeah, he's got the pace, but, pace is one thing. You've got a 50-minute race that you've got to complete. So, I think for me, if I start thinking like drivers of the day, besides our top 3 that are sitting there, Jason Webb, great comeback drive because he was involved in an incident on the opening lap and came from 36th place to finish, I think, 12th.
Unbelievable.
It's a great drive.
Yeah.
But I think for me, Bruno is definitely in with a shout for my drive of the day because he was under a lot of pressure going into this and fighting for the championship. You mentioned like Morgan, Morgan consistent. He's been consistent around 8th place. Bruno recently has been consistent, and that is why he's closed that gap and he finds himself in position. But Jason, we know he's had massive pace. He's also had a few issues in a couple of the races, which is why he's down. He should have been again fighting for podium overall championship. So good to see where he deserves to be as well. But when we go to Kyalami in October, we're going to have Bashir Jadwan back and Zaya Essa, our winner of the championship, 1st and 2nd essentially, and that's going to mix things up. These guys being 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and those guys like being 1st and 2nd. Make for a crack of 5 podium position, I think.
Yeah, I look forward to that Kyalami event. The pace overall in the Pro Series is going up. All the drivers are improving. We saw a bunch of drivers now mix it up from the Pro-Am category further up in the grid and mixing it up with other drivers that are, stalwarts in the Pro category. So it's nice to see that crossover happening. But we've got someone that's just stepping into the virtual commentary booth with us. Bruno Cadile walks into the room. Bruno Cadile, you must be ecstatic. This is I'm sure, a fantastic result for your championship campaign.
Hi guys, yeah man, that was a great race. Really, really fantastic race. Happy with the results, and for my championship.
Have you done the maths?
Not quite, but I think 3rd's gonna definitely put me right up there.
Yeah, I thought you would have worked it all out. I thought you would have gone, he finishes there, all the permutations. 3 weeks ago, like an uncharacteristic little mistake so close to the end. Took you a while to shake that off, eh?
Yeah, I think that race was a really good race for me. I mean, I kind of had already gone through the corner and then the car just slipped. It happens, but I think the whole race was a good one, and I'm happy to follow it up with another good one today. So that's how it goes. Racing's up and down.
Are you feeling pressure with the run into the end of the championship? I mean, finish 3rd overall in the championship would be amazing. Is that pressure starting to count? Did you come into Spa thinking through things like this? Because we were talking about it in qualifying, saying you're going to look and go, I've just got to be that psychological game. Were you playing it? Were you feeling it?
No, not at all. It's more for the fun and having a good race. That's all my focus is. So, if you start thinking about it, you make silly mistakes. So I was just focused on getting a strong result today.
Bruno, bottle whatever you've got and sell that to the real racing drivers. But I think that's the thing. The bubble and fizz of all of it and the pressure that does start mounting is very real. So it's cool that you've remained such a cool customer. And we see it on the track too. Ernest keeps singing your praises in terms of absorb pressure, and you really do, because you're running in a car that hasn't been the greatest car at every single track, but you're consistently there and you're doing it with a lot of cars on your tailpipe. So well done.
Yeah, thank you. I'm also quite ecstatic for Jason. Both of us from White Rabbit Gaming on the podium. This race I had to make sure Arno didn't spoil the parade, so I just kept an eye on him. But yeah, just generally happy, and thank you for the compliments. It's really nice to hear that from you.
Yeah, now the pressure that you've been under the last couple of races, especially with that Mercedes, because of how it's fast in other places. And how it's slow in certain places compared to some of your competition. I know that you've been dogfighting with these guys. So for you to pull the third when it counted, I mean, that's a big deal, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been tough, keeping all these Porsches and Audis behind me and alongside me. But yeah, it makes for good racing. So thank you so much, guys.
Indeed, it does make for good racing. And what a day's racing today has certainly been. One of the most action-packed races, and yet somehow remain clean most of the time.
Yeah, like 50 minutes. Is Tasman still here? Or is she...
I'm still here.
Sit there so quietly. Say, Tasman.
No, because you guys talk so much.
You know what? Isn't that a weird thing? 1,000 words, we've 1,000. So Ernest and I are just fitting them now.
No.
But Taz, 50 minutes literally flew by, and we had a safety. Which normally makes things like, oh, this race is going on. That is what Spa does, eh?
Yeah, I think because you're concentrating for so long, you don't actually realize how fast time actually goes by.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a long lap, so it takes a lot of concentration.
Yeah, stringing a long lap together certainly is a thing on its own, and the person about that is probably the winner of today's race, the person that managed to string together all these long laps in the shortest possible time. Jordan Sherritt will be joining us very, very shortly. There he is. Jordan Sherritt, you've strung together, as I was just saying, the most laps in the fastest possible time around this very, very long circuit. What's going through your mind right now?
I don't know. I just
Your voice cracked. Let me just acknowledge that.
I had a voice crack. Yeah. I don't know. It's finally a track where the Audi is the best at, and I guess I got to show that, and I think that's what the result was. Yeah.
Dude, you've been the guy to beat the last couple of rounds, and they've just 3 weeks ago as well. You should have won so many more. When is it? I think we've lost.
Yeah,
Jordan.
there you go, Marius. Are you? Yeah, I think you're back. Let's hear you again.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say.
No, am I back? I thought
Yes.
Sorry, Jordan. No, I'm saying, but I think you've had the out and out pace the last couple of rounds, but we speak about it so many times. Just really silly things like 3 weeks ago. This is probably only your second win, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you should have won so many more. So even when you're saying a track Audi, but a lot of the tracks have been pace. It's cool for me that you're not in the shout for like top 3 overall in the championship, but yet you still come here and you deliver the goods. That's a sign of a guy that's done it for real, because I think that's a bit of a problem with a lot of the online guys, not having that commitment to follow through the.
Yeah, Jordan, can you take over for us? Marius is breaking up a little bit. You get the gist of what he was saying there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, luck hasn't gone my way throughout the series, but I still come here on my Sunday, after F1. Although F1 was really interesting today, which was quite cool. But yeah, I guess I just love racing. So I mean, that's what I do, and I think what 80K does and what the series is, it's pretty good, and I just love racing, and that's why I'm here, I guess.
Yeah, no, dude, and that's exactly what you did today. You raced the heck out of that Audi to first place finish. The circuit is long, it's fast. Are there any places where you felt like you could have made a mistake, or you could have done something better or different, or was this just a perfect race?
My setup wasn't ideally perfect. I did have a few moments of oversteer through entry into corners, so my car's pitch wasn't correct. So on my end, I made a few mistakes, just the car being not constant some corners, because this game is really good with how the tires degrade and how it changes the ride out of the car, which changes the pitch into certain corners over a few period of laps. So I guess that caught me out, and I'm sure it probably caught a lot of guys out. And I think that's quite a big factor.
Jordan,
And,
just a quick one. I don't know if I'm back. Am I clear? Am I breaking up?
yes, you're back.
Okay. Jordan, just a quick one. We were wondering. Through Radeon,
Yes.
what's happening through Radeon in terms of track limits? Are you getting warnings, guys, straight line through there? Because we seem to see a lot of that.
There is a limit, and I've done quite a few laps around here, so I guess it's like you have to have your right side of your car or Radeon. Well, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the corners and like.
So Rouge, when you come over the crest through Rouge and over the top over Radeon, a lot of guys end up bailing out of Eau Rouge through the start of Radeon and pulling straight over the top.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the trick is always to keep left over the curb going into Eau Rouge and then almost touching the curb on the right and literally straight lining it. I mean, you've got to be so your right side of your car has to be like just on the curb, then you get away with it. I mean, I did have one warning, and I'm sure you probably saw that I was running wide, but I was keeping in the track limits.
No, because a lot of guys, I mean, you make it look straight, and they do that. So I guess is the game looking and saying, okay, well, you didn't keep it flat pegged, you've backed out, you haven't made time, so we're not going to give you a warning, because it is such a treacherous corner where that happens a lot, and we saw a lot of it in the game. So I just wondered if that was something, because I mean that's what ended up happening to you 3 weeks ago. A little exceeding track limits cost you a victory. So it's those sort of things that play on your mind. I mean, did you end up in the build up to this go and do lots of laps and say, where can I push the limits? When does a set of courses scream at me and say, that's too far?
Yeah, well, luckily Spa is sort of, there's no real bugs in terms of limits, so like no one really has issues. So I guess I could push them. I guess. Yeah. Where Suzuka, for argument's sake, I got like a double on one, which was kind of what gave me the drive-through. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of try to keep it a bit timid, I guess. Once I got the gap, I kind of just pulled it back slightly, although, I found when I actually pull it back, I go faster. So it's just one of those things,
Well done, bro. That's a cracker drive, seriously.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Unbelievable driving there from Jordan Sherritt. And if we're looking at the championship standings, I just worked it out with my basic mathematics that Bruno Cadile got 9 points there on Bukor.
So he's now leads him by 4 points because there was a 5 point difference. So it's a 4 point swing. So
4 point swing, that works. That works.
So he hasn't finished it just yet. He's still got to obviously beat him in the next round.
Of course, but if you look at the point gap, so I'm just trying to see what the point allocation is. So he's basically got to, obviously, because sometimes they're allocating 1 point, that type of stuff, 45, 42. So he got 40. So sometimes you just got, he's always got to stay ahead. I'm trying to see how many you have to stay ahead because it's not the easiest point system it's 1 point. Is that what it is? 1 point per position. So he's got to, he can even be.
As long as he stays ahead of him in the next event,
I think that's going to be the move. Just stay ahead, just beat him on track. It's going to be an on track race pretty much.
Yes, but it's going to be crack because if it's not, if you're not, then you've got to make sure that you're not more than 4 cars behind him.
Sure.
In terms of
good luck absorbing that pressure again, Bruno Cadile. I mean, every single race, Bruno Cadile finds himself in a dogfight. It's insane to see that even now going to the championship, the same thing is repeating itself.
But Taz, you heard what I said to him. I'm like, nonsense. There's no ways you're saying you're not thinking. I'm just doing it for the fun. I'm going, what? I don't know anyone like that because you've got to. I don't know anyone that comes to, it's a simulator. It's not the real thing. But geez,
no, but even when I was driving the simulator, my heart was going at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Same.
You're always thinking about the championship, I feel. You never just racing a race. Maybe at the beginning of a championship for sure, but at the end, when there's so much up for grabs or there's so many things that could...
You've dedicated 8 months to this thing. And you think about that putting in. Like when he's... I'm like, dude, whatever he's got, he must bottle it and sell it. Because
that kind of cool. Yeah, that kind of cool. And today he certainly used and showed that kind of cool because third place was what he needed. Third place, a solid third place finish was what he needed. I just got some messages now.
He took your white glove and moonwalked into that interview. I'm telling you now, he's so cool.
I just got a message now that officially Jason Webb went from 36th position to 16th position.
I thought he finished 12th. He finished 12th. I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
there you go. Then it was 12th then. I mean, that would be insane. He finished 12th.
Yeah, because remember he was in that battle across the line with Bernard finished 13th, which was like a lucky best result. So Bernard 13th, Jason Webb finished in 12th because Marcus outbraked himself through the bus stop. So that's what gave Bernard that extra position. So that's a great drive. So for me,
Unbelievable.
that's the drive of
Unbelievable.
Jordan, drive of the day, and Jason Webb and Bruno. Those are my top 3.
Sure. Now, fantastic drives from all of those guys today. And I'm just so glad that everybody managed to keep it, for the most part, onto the track. They managed to keep the cars wheels down, door to door. There were a couple of incidents, yes, but the racing overall was good. And I enjoyed that, Marius.
Yeah, but I've enjoyed the series. I mean, to where it all started at Kyalami, and I just think, yes, it was so long ago. It was my first time being involved in the world of simulator racing, and it's just been an unbelievable journey because you've seen guys grow. We spoke about like Corné Strauss, guys that were in worked up to pro-ams and started winning pro-ams, and they make their way all the way into and now finishing like in the top 15 in pros. I mean, that's awesome, and that's the sort of development that you want to see from guys that are committed to stick it out through the whole season, because it is a long season. And that for me has been incredible. So it's been a hell of a cool series, and we've seen some amazing racing. Honestly, I've been super impressed.
Unbelievable racing today, as always, at the Pro Series. Well, folks, that is it from us here at the Pro Series. Of course, today would not be possible without AMD, Elgato, and Logitech. Join us all again for the final round. Kyalami, we're back in South Africa for the ATK Pro Series. We'll see you guys then.